Donald Trump got me to say the N-word. Is this thing on? All right, here we go. Donald Trump got me to say the N-word. And before anyone starts clipping the sentence and putting ominous music behind it, no, Trump didn't personally call me. He didn't send me an executive order. He didn't stand behind me at a rally going, "Say it, Justin. Everybody says it. Tremendous word. Possibly the greatest word of all time. That's just my opinion." He did, however, show me why it's important to say it rather than not. You see, for most of my life, I refused to say the N-word. And just to clarify for anybody listening instead of watching, I am very clearly among the melanated minority. If you haven't guessed from my videos or somehow managed to miss the dark-skinned avatar with medical gauze around his eyes, I am indeed a black man, yes. I know. I'm still disappointed about it too. But back to what matters. The N-word. Nobody's gonna hear me say it and wonder whether my invitation got lost in the mail, but growing up, I was taught that black people who use that word were ignorant, trashy, uneducated, ghetto, and resistant to sunburns, and that I was somehow better because I didn't speak like that. So I carried that shit around like it was its own certificate. I was like, look at me! I don't say the big bad word. I have achieved racism immunity. I'm such a good noodle. I am much better than all the other darkies. Please, give me my gold star, my little gold star. I need it. And just let me just stand 3 feet above the rest of my race, except nobody fucking cared. Like, seriously, not one person has ever approached me and said, "Justin, I just wanted to let you know that your lifelong refusal to say the N-word has inspired me to become a better man. You are truly an example worth following." Nobody was fucking keeping track. Like, there was no leaderboard at all for this shit. I just spent years protecting a moral accomplishment that existed entirely in my own head. I mean, worse than that, it just isolated me from other people, because there were other black people who I wouldn't let myself become close with because they talked differently than I did. Like, they'd use the word casually, and I'd immediately treat it like proof that they were fundamentally different types of people from me. Never mind that they were honest, or that they were funny, or loyal, or intelligent, or, actually fun to be around. They said the forbidden syllables, ooh! And so apparently, I just had to, protect the bloodline or whatever the fuck. Like, do y'all see how fucking stupid that is? I wasn't being, morally responsible. I was just being judgmental with extra steps. I thought having good character meant only using the words from the feel-good word bank. And those are not remotely the same thing. Like, someone can avoid every offensive word in the English language and still be the fakest motherfucker you've ever met. They'll smile in your face, tell you everything you want to hear, use all the approved vocabulary, and then talk about you the second you leave the room. Meanwhile, someone else will call you every variation of the N-word available in their regional dialect. We're talking the soft A, the hard R, the long O, hell, even the silent G. And will still drive 2 hours at midnight because your car broke down. So you tell me, which person is the better person? The answer is, whichever one can come get me faster because I'm not sleeping in a Nissan to preserve my linguistic principles. And the older I got, the more I realized that people usually respect someone who says what they actually feel. That doesn't mean that everything you say or everything you feel is intelligent. That also doesn't mean that every thought needs to escape your mouth like you're the fat little bastard from South Park. Some thoughts just need to remain in captivity, and you know what? That's okay. But people can normally tell when you're sanding down every sentence because you're terrified of being disliked. I know people probably were able to definitely tell that for me when I was growing up or whatever. They can tell when you're performing goodness instead of actually being good. And that brings me to Donald Trump. Whatever else you think about the man, and there's a fucking warehouse of material to choose from, believe me, I did a whole video about that a little bit ago. Sometimes he says what he wants to before he even figures out what it means. He will start talking about one thing, wander through 6 unrelated subjects, insult someone who wasn't even involved, compliment himself, discover a new nickname in real time, and somehow arrive back at the original point 20 minutes later. The Donald calls this the weave. Most normal people, however, call it getting distracted, but me, I just call it dementia, but you know what, whatever. But millions of people respond to him because they believe they're hearing the actual person. They don't think a committee wrote every sentence, scrubbed it clean, and tested it in front of 12 focus groups before he ever opened his fucking mouth. He just fucking says it. And is it always good? No, absolutely not. But I said he inspired me to use one word. I did not say this was a mentorship program. And yes, I am well aware that a good chunk of what he says is totally scripted or fabricated to drive outrage, attention, and all the other words. I mean, the man was a reality TV star for like however long The Apprentice ran on for, so if you think everything he says is real, you're dumber than me for thinking that not calling someone the N-word made me feel like a good person. But watching a man become president by speaking like a TikTok comment section gain access to a microphone made me reconsider why I was so terrified of saying something that people around me had been saying my entire life. What exactly did I think would happen? Would my black card get denied? Would I spontaneously combust? Would Frederick Douglass appear in my bathroom mirror and say that he was disappointed in me? Would the ancestors revoke my melanin? I mean, brother, it's a fucking word. A loaded word, obviously. Context matters. Like, who says it does matter, why they say it does matter. I'm not pretending the entire history of the word disappeared because I finally stopped clutching my pearls and just got the fuck over it. I'm saying that my refusal has become less about respecting that history and more about maintaining an image for myself. You know, because I needed to believe that I was better than the people who used it. And that's fucking wrong. Then I grew up and realized that being a good person is actually pretty overrated. Kind of. Calm down. I don't mean you should like start kicking dogs and shit and stealing medicine from old people. I mean like constantly trying to qualify the good person when you know you're not that can turn into another type of performance that people could just see through. You just become so obsessed with appearing harmless that you stop being honest. You never disagree directly. You never say what somebody actually needs to hear. You just like hide all your little ugly thoughts. Not because like you were able to mature and conquer them or whatever, but you just wanted like the social credit for never having them, I guess, like brought to the forefront and vocalized for other people to criticize you about them. That's literally nice guy fucking behavior. Like there was a whole movie about this that some random cartoon commentator got canceled for over, and I made a video about that too. Go watch that, by the way. But anyway, I would rather be an authentic and occasionally wrong piece of shit my whole life than auditioning for the role of nicest guy nobody knows and nobody fucking cares about. You know, I still have my I'm not gonna lie to you code. That one still matters to me. That's still pretty important to me. Authenticity is probably the most important thing that a person can have until some future president does something outrageous enough to talk me out of that one too. I don't know, maybe President Logan Paul will teach me that lying builds character. You know, we'll see. We'll just have to find out for that. But for now, I can finally hop into a multiplayer lobby and pull a PewDiePie. Once I figure out how to play literally any video game that isn't Minecraft or Supreme Dualistic. One step at a time, am I right? Honestly, there are much more realistic things for me to fear than saying a word. There are fish that are disguised as rocks that can inject venom into your feet because you have the nerve to visit the beach. Like, imagine surviving racism just to get assassinated by the fucking ground. Like, getting dropped into spawn and then just like die. Like, imagine if you fall out of the sky and I've never played Fortnite, so you know, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but just from like my common knowledge of how the game Fortnite works, imagine like you drop out of the sky bus and then as soon as you step on the ground, a fucking fish kills you because you stepped on a fish. Fucking ridiculous. Another thing to be afraid of is like you could win a free car on a game show and then discover that the government and the IRS considers that valuable taxable income. So congratulations, you won a vehicle and a tax bracket increase. So very cool. Yes, we love to see it. No, we don't. And also another thing to be afraid of is like your Wi-Fi signals are like already being used to detect motion and movement, gestures, and even changes caused by your breathing. So yeah, like the invisible waves passing through your house can not only tell where you move, but also how you're breathing. But yeah, I was afraid of saying the one word among other black people that would lower my morality score or whatever when there's all this other shit to worry about. And just like any company trying to force a movie that no one fucking wanted down your throat for the sake of profit, my priorities were hella fucked. Like, remember chat, We believe in freedom of speech on this channel. That doesn't mean freedom from criticism. You can say whatever you want and everybody else can tell you that it was stupid. That's part of the deal. I don't merely support your ability to say the things that I dislike, I also support my ability to say the things that I don't even like saying. That's the real equality. And no matter who I criticize, mock, or call out, I won't always hear what the other side has to say as long as they're willing to engage in it honestly. You might change my mind and I might change yours, or we might both leave thinking the other person is a fucking moron. That's still better than pretending that the disagreement itself is violence and every uncomfortable word needs to be handled with protective equipment like a hazmat suit, like you're carrying kryptonite or whatever. So I guess to summarize, thank you, Donald Trump. Not for your policies, not for your leadership, not even for the weave, but thank you for accidentally teaching me that avoiding the N-word did not make me a more black person or like a less black person or better than anybody else or whatever the fuck. It just made me a black guy who didn't say the N-word. Now I'm a black guy who occasionally says the N-word. And the earth keeps on spinning, my skin stays attached, and I'm not stepping on any motherfucking fish. When I finally stopped using one word as the entire measurement of my character, and you know what? That's the real lesson we gotta take away from all this. Also the fish. Watch out for the fish. Them fuckers are scary. But what do I know, right? I'm just a nigga.